The Ohio State Buckeyes just got a surge of great news. Let's talk about it. My name is Aaron with my buddy Paul. We are the Big Ten guys on the daily, pushing out Big Ten news, rumors, analysis, whatever the heck it is, Big Ten, we're going to talk about it right here. So do me a favor, absolutely pound that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and hit the like button ASAP. And I'll tell you what, if you don't hit the like button now, I know you will at the end of the episode when we jump into the schedule. And it's only good news for Buckeyes fans and Buckeye Nation. So today, what we're going to be jumping to on the start of the episode is the Washington Huskies. As it sits right now, 3-0. And I think some people are nervous about the Huskies, but I want to put that nervousness at ease. Now, again, I will say things happen in college football. You never know. They have Damon Williams at quarterback, solid quarterback. But again, we need to look at the whole situation in Seattle with the Washington Huskies a little more closely, because I think it's going to put a lot of people at ease. So let's jump into it. First and foremost, we look when it comes to rush offense, and we're going to talk about the Huskies offense, their defense, and then we're going to jump into Ohio State for a little bit. And as I said at the end of the episode, we're going to jump into the schedule. But first and foremost, the Washington Huskies, out of 139 college football teams, FBS teams, you see them ranked as number 9, which is solid. 260 yards averaged per game. Solid. Anyone would say, wow, yeah, that's impressive. We jump into third down conversions. They rank first in college football. It's of 36 attempts, 27 converted, so 75% third down conversion percentage. Impressive. You're looking at this resume so far and you're like, Aaron, I thought you were going to put me at ease, put this whole thing at ease and make me feel more comfortable traveling all the way to the Western time zone, taking on the Huskies. Yes, calm down. I'm going to get there. I will get there. We look at rush defense. Same thing. They rank 9th, giving up about 62.7. Kind of interesting that they rank 9th in rushing offense, 9th in rushing defense. Beside the point, 62 yards given up a game. And then we jump into total defense. Total defense, they're down a little bit. 25, 262 yards a game. Now, a lot of these metrics sound very, very good for the Huskies. And I think a lot of people, especially Buckeye fans that are watching, are thinking, Aaron, if anything, it's made me a little more nervous. But let me put that at ease, because the good news is, the great news is, we look into their schedule and they have played absolutely no one. Colorado State 1-2. UC Davis, an FCS school, sure, you can blow them out 70-10. Who cares? Washington State, they lost to they beat Washington State 59-24. Washington State, let me remind you, lost to North Texas, the Mean Green, 59-10. Got absolutely annihilated. So bad that the Pac-12 says, you know what, I think we change our mind. We don't want to get the band back together and try to figure this conference out. We're just going to dismember. In Washington State, maybe you want to give up on your football team. Sorry, that's a little extreme. They don't. But this schedule is not great. It has not been good. You have 3 cupcake games, and then you jump into the game against the Buckeyes at home. But we look at all those stats that were solid. Number 9 in rush defense, number 9 in rushing offense, third down conversions, first in the country. All these different things, these different stats and metrics that would lead you to believe, man, this team is really good. But then we need to look at, hey, within context, who have they been playing? And the answer is no one. They have played absolutely no one. Again, you would be led to believe that Washington State is a solid win, not when they're getting beat up by the Mean Green. Okay? So again, this first and foremost should put the Buckeyes at ease. Going into Seattle, going into Husky Stadium, playing the Huskies, it should not be as nerve-wracking as people think it is. Now, as well, some good news when we look at the Buckeyes as well. Defensively, when we look at their red zone defense, the opponent has got in the red zone 4 different times, 3 games, and literally nothing. Nada. looking good for the Buckeyes, especially against an offense that a lot of people say, listen, Washington has weapons. Washington looks good. And we look into their statistics as well, specifically when we look at Damon Williams, who came from Arizona, transferred in. Statistically, you look 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. He can scramble 220 yards. Just at 6.5 average, 2 rushing touchdowns. Then you look at Jonah Coleman, 9 rushing touchdowns, 347 yards, 6.8. And then you even jump down to Muhammad, who has 4.4 average. It looks good. But again, take it within context. Ohio State, whatever you believe about Texas, that is still a difficult game. And it was a defensive slugfest. But when you are a team like Washington and you're going up against teams like UC Davis, Colorado State, and once again, a team who lost to North Texas Mean Green, we have to take it all in context. So I think when we look at it, when we look at everything and taking a big holistic look, an aerial view, we can call it, I truly do not see Ohio State being in trouble. I think Damon Williams, actually, if you've watched him, is somewhat the real deal, but he has also been sacked 6 times by much, much, much lesser opponents. So I really think Ohio State goes in, takes care of business in Washington, and Washington is going to be handed its first loss. They will be 3-1 after they're visited by the Buckeyes, and they're going to realize, maybe we should have scheduled some harder opponents to start off the year. Maybe give us a little more practice, heading into Big Ten play. But again, I wouldn't fret. I don't think it's as crazy as people think, though. As I said, I think Damon Williams is pretty solid, but I don't think the Buckeyes should worry about it. So I think that's the first piece of great news. As we continue on, you look at the schedule. So I think there's a lot of things that have somewhat already been answered for the Buckeyes looking in their schedule. And I would tell you right now, the 2 biggest games, in my opinion, circled, and every game is a must-win. Obviously. If you are a coach and you're going in there not saying that, you're an idiot. No coach is going to do that. But when we look at Penn State and we look at Michigan, biggest rivalry in college football, end of the year, you know the Buckeyes are ready to get that dub, and it is personal. And then Penn State, obviously, the team that a lot of people predicted to win the Big Ten, to win the national championship. That is going to be a huge game in Columbus, November 1st. But we look at the schedule, Washington, Minnesota. Again, Minnesota, another team I think that is a little overhyped. They lost to a Cal team, but I think these 2 are wins. We go into Illinois. This is a big one I want to talk about. Illinois got absolutely pantsed by the Hoosiers in Bloomington. Absolutely pantsed. And sure, they were missing a handful of people, but regardless, losing by 53 points is absurd. It is unreal. So again, this was a game that I would say Buckeyes need to watch out for. And by no means am I saying just sleep on these teams, don't worry about it. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it bodes well for the Buckeyes that, hey, we have film of how the heck Indiana dominated the Illini, and it's going to be bad for them. Wisconsin, bad this year. Jump over Penn State, Purdue, not great. UCLA, absolute dog water. Rutgers, typical Rutgers. So you really look at the rest of the schedule, and obviously it's college football. Anything can happen. Teams can have a bad game. But we have to look at the schedule and say it is looking better than we once thought. You look at Illinois ranked, Wisconsin, we weren't sure how they were going to be this year, and then Penn State. Those are 3 tough games in a row, where now we have Illinois, which is in Champaign, but hey, A lot of questions were answered against that Indiana game. In that Indiana game, they're on film. It's not boding well for the Illini. Wisconsin, as I said, not great. And then Penn State is that big game. But what's nice is there is a bye week in between that, which is huge. So again, you look at the schedule closer and closer, and I think there is good optimism, some great news for Buckeyes all over, knowing that, hey, it should be an easy road to the playoff. It should be. Obviously, there's bumps in the road. Obviously, there's issues. But, at worst, I would tell you the Buckeyes finished 10-2. But I don't even see that. And that's like worst case scenario, I truly believe. I would be surprised if they did. But again, I think this is all good news for the Buckeyes, whether that's the Washington game or the rest of their schedule. Onward, I feel like a lot of good news for Buckeyes Nation. Seeing, hey, Washington, probably not as good as people think, and should be a must, obviously a must win. Will be a win, and then moving onward, some other games that once thought were going to be a little more intense should be wins as well, especially Illinois, Wisconsin, and then moving on, even UCLA. That even your boy Nico there, not good. I actually, in one of my episodes, we kicked out, I don't know if I have the flag here, we kicked out UCLA because it was an embarrassment. You can't lose to New Mexico. It's as simple as that. But anyways, tell me what you think. I think it's good news heading into this weekend, heading into the rest of the season. What do you think? Comment below. Would love to hear you guys. Appreciate you. Hit the subscribe button. We'll talk later. Peace.